Hello, fellow fantasy sports fans. Welcome to MFSN, the hub. Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. I'm here as always with Casey, Vlad to the Bone Scheinwald, and Ross the Boss.
Hey, everybody. Ross the Boss coming live from La La Lipstick City, California. And yes, we're here to talk topics, just not baseball, because I know it's baseball season, but we're going to talk about everything going on in the world.
Yeah,
and by the way, while your host forgot to do it, his name is Dr. Dan Ratner.
Oh, thank you, Casey. I appreciate that. I am somebody. But, the reason we're doing this show is a couple of reasons. One, I just feel like I'm such a sports fan, and we talk only about fantasy sports on this network for the most part. But we decided, you know what? We want to talk about sports in general. We are sports enthusiasts. And the thing that really drove me to it is our topic for today, guys, which was the change in stance on Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson and all this stuff. Casey's shaking his head, so we're going to hear from him. I mean, we'll hear from us all. But, Ross, you start us off. You're a Reds fan.
Big
so
Reds fan.
What's your feeling about Pete Rose being reinstated?
It wasn't reinstated. The whole, I did a deep dive, they call it in the business. And what it was is the president of the United States called the commissioner of baseball, and he wanted Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame. And Pete's been dead for 8 months. He died, I think, in September of last year. And they came to a conclusion where if somebody's passed away and they're not alive anymore and they're banned from baseball, they can come in the Hall of Fame, which to me is just like, you win the lottery, but you're dead. What's the point? You know what I mean? I mean, you can't enjoy it. I mean, the whole point of playing in baseball or football or basketball is to make the Hall of Fame, and giving that speech at the Hall of Fame, at Cooperstown, and Pete will never have that moment. And that's the sad part. So great. He's in the Hall of Fame. He'll have his little section in Cooperstown. And he'll have the bat that he broke the record with Ty Cobb and everything else. But in all seriousness, I mean, what's the point? I mean, if he can't enjoy it and give the speech and do what he does, it's really, for me. I'm a big Reds fan. I love Pete Rose, huge fan of Pete. I mean, I have a bunch of memorabilia in my house, and it's just sad. I'm more sad than happy, honestly.
All right. And Casey, you were shaking your head, so I'm getting the sense that you think it shouldn't happen at all.
No,
Tell me,
I don't think Pete Rose should accept it.
Curveball by Casey Scheinfeld.
You don't think Pete Rose should accept it?
I think he should tell the MLB in the Hall to stick it where the sun don't shine. That the family should just say, you waited till 8 months after he passed away so that he couldn't. Even though you knew it was his greatest desire in the world, that you waited till 8 months after he died. Like, that's just petty and shameless to me.
Okay.
I mean, the sad part, Casey, what you said, family, his ex-wife can't stand him. His current wife wasn't around when he played baseball, and his son, I think, was in jail. They don't talk at all, Pete Rose Jr. And, his kids, he's not really close at all with his family.
Right. But that makes it even worse. Like, they knew there's nobody there who's going to appreciate it.
So, Casey, are you in agreement with Ross that, like, if you would have liked to see it happen sooner? I mean,
yeah, it should have happened 10, 15 years
Okay,
ago.
so we're actually all in agreement about that. When I first heard it, I mean, I understand both of your stances in terms of being sad, in terms of the families rejecting it, but I'm still glad it happened for multiple reasons. One of them is the precedent. I mean, you can't live with that level of lack of forgiveness. It's like the guy he was raked over the coals for his whole life. His legacy was ruined. He saw it ruined. It's a long time coming. And now let's talk about Shoeless Joe for a little bit, because he's affected by or at least his legacy is affected by this too. And let me ask you this: does it affect their legacies that they will get in? Ross, it seemed to you that you were saying no.
No, I mean, Shoeless Joe, I mean, the average baseball fan has no idea who that is.
Unless you saw Field of Dreams, and then you already believed he was.
I think 8 Men Out. 8 Men Out is the story of the White Sox and how they blew the World Series, correct?
Yeah,
that is correct.
That is correct, sir.
But Cusack, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good memory. I'm impressed. The boy from Pennsylvania. And but yes, I mean, no one knows who he is, unless you're like us. I mean,
Ross, I'm going to blow you away with this. I know who played the guy who played Joe Jackson in 8 Men Out. DB Sweeney.
Oh yeah, sure.
I'm throwing down there. All right, back to you.
Yeah, so DB Sweeney, again, great actor. I don't think he's alive anymore, or if he hasn't worked in years. One of the two.
I believe he passed away a while ago.
Shoeless Joe Jackson, again, he died, so he can be in the Hall of Fame. Will Barry Bonds be in the Hall of Fame? Well, when he passes away, yeah.
Well, look,
will A-Rod be in the Hall of Fame?
He absolutely should be.
I mean, all these people, you're saying like, well, if Pete Rose is in, Barry Bonds should be in. I think Barry Bonds should be in.
I agree.
Barry Bonds should have been in as soon as he was eligible.
Yeah,
I agree.
All these guys back in the day, they all did steroids. I mean, David Ortiz got in.
But besides that, he never failed a drug test.
David Ortiz failed the drug test. That's Dr. Dan Ratner. He gave it to him.
I remember that well.
Like, but he never failed a drug test. Yeah, we can all assume based on his appearance and the change in his body type.
He did fail. I thought he was suspended, Casey, for David Ortiz. Nope. Are you sure?
David Ortiz? No, I'm talking about Barry Bonds.
Oh, no,
David Ortiz was part of that same 2004.
Yeah, David Ortiz got caught. He was suspended.
Barry Bonds he failed the Avengers test. You looked at him, he looked like one of the Avengers, and everyone was like, okay, he's on roids. But I mean, like, look, baseball has been a game of bending rules and outright cheating forever. And I'm not saying I condone that, but I'm just saying, like, let's not be hypocritical about it.
Managers and players for years have talked about how they would do anything outside of the rules I mean, Gaylord Perry used to talk about where he would grease up his body in multiple spots. So if the ump told him to wipe one, he had another place where he could go to grease the ball. Yeah, I mean, like, it's been widely accepted,
that Vagisil.
Right. You're saying Jesus Christ couldn't hit a curveball. but that's Major League over there. You can't see it right now. I'd have to move the camera. But it doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, it doesn't. And the sad
for them to stand on this moral high ground when you have the Ty Cobbs and Rogers Hornsby's.
I mean, look at Sammy Sosa, Rafael Primero, Roger Clemens. I mean, there's a laundry list of players that all were caught for steroids. Some of them even admitted in their books that they took steroids. And you know what? That was the era. That's what everybody did. I mean, Wally Backman was hitting home runs and he was on juice. You know what I mean? So look, let's not pretend that no one was doing it except a few group of people. Everybody was doing it. Everybody did it except my boy Ken Griffey Jr. He never touched it, but everybody else did it.
And listen, I think you guys will agree, but maybe not. I'm not condoning that they did it, and I'm not condoning the idea of cheating, but at the same time, it's like, how much did it actually aid them anyway? I mean, sure, it may make them better than people in other generations, but that whole generation was doing it. So comparatively speaking, Barry Bonds was better than all of those players. And at some point, especially if they've asked for forgiveness for it, I just don't understand why we're not giving it, especially after let it go for 15 or 20 years. Give a little bit of punishment. Fine.
How long was Pete Rose was punished for? 45 years? 40 years?
At least 40 years, Casey. Yeah.
I mean,
and remember, he never bet against his team.
He only bet on his team to win.
Yeah, I mean,
isn't that what everybody does?
He was even playing. He was managing, I think, or maybe
he was both. I think he did it when he was a player manager as well.
He never bet them to lose. He always bet them to win. It wasn't like he was out there striking out on purpose. That's not what Pete Rose does. Granted, he knew the pitchers. He knew what relief pitchers he was bringing in and who was resting. He knew that.
Yeah, but I mean, it was his job to try to win anyway. It makes no sense. There was no conflict of interest there.
No,
I agree. But the whole precedent of do you guys think that these people should wait till they passed away to make the Hall of Fame? No.
Like you said, Ross, I think it completely defeats the purpose. You want to celebrate these people in life. And look, they're not perfect people.
The Hall of Fame is supposed to be a living monument in that way.
Yeah. I mean, when Casey makes the Hall of Fame for doctors, he's going to be alive. I'll be there with him.
You're going to give my speech.
And I'll help you write the speech. And I'll be the guy that brings you up. You know what I mean? I'll be that guy.
There's big money in the Psychologist Hall of Fame. I'm sure that's going to be huge.
It's a long line of confidentiality.
Boyd, there's Scheinfeld, and there's Ratner. Those are the three. Those are the three guys.
Those are the big ones.
Yeah.
All right.
Look,
Let's
the hypocrisy of the whole thing now is most of these major sports leagues' biggest sponsors are DraftKings or like
That's
MGM,
ironic,
BetMGM. Like,
Yeah.
gambling is now a part of sports every day for every sports fan. Like,
yeah, and I mean, a guy like Pete Rose, he was legend. He's an all-time hits leader. It's ridiculous. It's kind of
baseball more than Pete Rose, guys. I mean,
you should have put him in the Hall a long time ago, and you could put a little caveat under it about this is referring to him as a baseball player because here were the concerns about him, if you want to. But it's the Baseball Hall of Fame. He's the hit king. He was Charlie Hustle. He was everything that embodied what we all enjoyed about baseball in the 70s and 80s.
And I mean, I'm all for moral living, but this is not the Morality Hall of Fame. This is the Baseball Hall of Fame.
No,
they don't
there's
have
like
to be perfect
rapists
people.
and there's drug addicts and there's everything else in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, you have what? Ty Cobb, the biggest, I mean, assaulting a fan who had no arms for jeering.
He was a racist. He would say the N-word out to people. You
had Rogers Hornsby with his gambling. You had Wade Boggs, an admitted sex addict. You had Paul Molitor, who confessed to drug use. Like, these are people that are beloved. There's nothing held against them for it.
Yeah, no. And I think you guys are also you made some other points that I think are important, including like it's totally haphazard. I mean, like Roger Clemens, he basically did the same thing as Barry Bonds, but like it's getting totally different treatment.
But guys, let me tell you about steroids. I never tried them, but I know guys who take them. I know a lot of people that take them, and basically, it doesn't make you. It's not a magic pill where you take it and all of a sudden you're strong. It's for recovery. So if you work out, you take a steroid, you can recover a lot quicker than the other guy. So you can go to the gym and pump more iron.
So you're saying Byron Buxton needs to start taking some steroids?
Well, it's also a lot of tear in your ligaments. It's horrible for your body.
Yeah,
I mean,
so here's the argument, and I know it's been made before, but if somebody has a prescription for a stimulant because they have ADHD.
No, Mike Trout. Keep going.
Is that a performance enhancing drug? If somebody gets corrective eye surgery or wears contacts, is that a performance enhancing procedure?
Mike Trout has a note from a doctor that his testosterone is low, so he gets to take some type of steroid, and it's a fact. I mean, he can take steroids legally because the doctor prescribed it, and it's
just a weird thing. But I'll just say, I think as a society, we've got to get a lot less judgmental of people. Just like go easier on people. It's hard enough. Like, and Pete Rose, he expressed that he was sorry about it, and I just think it's a shame that they didn't let him in long before he died, so that he could actually enjoy.
I know that's why I'm more upset than happy. People say, "Oh, you must be happy about Pete." I said,
"I'm not happy in the situation. What I hope it does is change the precedent where people recognize, you know what, we should be doing this before they die." But I think you're right, Ross, because this is not the precedent we want set. We don't want the precedent set that you got to die and then you can get honored. It just makes no sense. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up here. We're going to do these sports shows every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Casey and Ross are continuing waiver wire shows. That's Tuesday and Thursday. The Tuesday show is at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, and the Thursday show is at 12:30 p.m. Eastern and 9:30 a.m. Pacific, early in the morning for you people. So we're going to keep the fantasy information coming. We're also going to debate sports, and we really want you guys to debate the sports with us. So we want to hear from you. Put your comments below. Tell us what you think.
Topics you'd like us to talk
about. Or
about.
Topics you'd like us to cover. But on this one, I want to hear what you guys have to say about Pete Rose, about Shoeless Joe Jackson, about this precedent and everything. All right, Casey and Ross, it's been a pleasure.
Well, first, we got to say hi to Party Marty.
Oh, Party Marty's here. Hi, how are you? We're doing Go Oilers Go. All right, Marty. Ever the hockey fan.
Really quick, the Oilers, really quick. They were up like 3-1 or 3-0, I think, in the third period. Dallas came back and scored 5 goals in the third period, and they win.
Don't rub it in. Don't rub it in.
Very Knicks-like.
Very. All right, guys. It's a pleasure. I will see you guys next week and looking forward to many times ahead. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.